the dark night of the soul and the feeling of schizophrenia. So in the very beginning, I would like to stress that by using the word schizophrenia, I don't mean any medical condition. I'm using this word to describe an aspect of my perception of reality during the dark night of the soul. And let me tell you what I mean by that. So basically, during the dark night of the soul, I felt many different emotions, from the most, from the heaviest ones to the most beautiful, lightest emotions, if you will. But sometimes the contrast was so big that it was very difficult to imagine, because I think it's the only period in my life in which it's been so visible and felt in my body. I will give you an example. So let's say in the same day, I can feel totally mesmerized, and I can feel the beauty of, let's say, the sunset, when I'm watching, the sunset, and I'm feeling at that point, elated, delighted, and I'm feeling so lucky and privileged to be alive and to be able to see that, because I just feel the divinity in that experience, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's just so good to be alive on this planet. And let's say I go back to the so-called normal life, and it can be anything, you can go back to your partner that you don't fancy anymore, for example, or you can go back to work, and you open your computer and you're like, I just experienced that sunset or sunrise, because if you're at work, probably you start in the morning. I just experienced that beautiful sunrise, and I felt so alive and so lucky to be alive on this planet. And now I'm opening my laptop and I see those emails, I see this and I see that, and it's just like a split personality, going from that delight to this. And it depends, on every single experience, because, for some people it may be their job or their relationship, or a situation in the world, or, in the community, anything actually. We all have things, experiences and people that we don't fancy anymore, so to speak, and we're just trying to come to terms with it or say goodbye to them. So I would say, for me, it just felt like schizophrenia, and I've experienced this quite a lot. So again, I can go out for a walk, even in the city, and again feel the beauty of it, the motion and so on, because I believe that both nature and the city can be very beautiful, are actually very beautiful, even though, my personal preference is nature, being, in wilderness and forests and things like that. But, basically I can also feel the beauty of the city. So, the movement, people, sometimes it's too much and there's too much of, too many of different energies, but that's a different thing. But basically it's also an expression of life, an expression of divinity, if you will. So I feel that you can find beauty in any experience. But if something is not for you, so let's say if you're overwhelmed by living in the city or by your job, by the type of work that you do, you're going to feel some kind of dissonance, and very often heavy feelings. In one of the previous episodes, I was talking about, how alive I feel during the dark night of the soul. There isn't really much numbness, but I feel alive to everything, to joy, to delight, to pain, to fear, to sadness, to many different emotions. I feel very much alive. So again, I think that just deepens this feeling of schizophrenia, because when I'm experiencing something beautiful, I can feel it with all of me, if you will. But then there's this contrast. Let's say I go back to normal life, and oh my God, it's just so it just doesn't resonate with what I've just experienced. So I think that it can be confusing. And you can go from the happiest person on earth, in my experience, to the saddest person on earth. From all those moments like, oh my God, yes, I want to be alive. I want to do this. I want to live, fully, I want to experience everything. And then, if you go back to the so-called reality, although I think that we can argue what true reality really is, but anyway, you go back and you're like to that aspect of your life and you're like, oh my God, I just forgot what my life looks like, and so on. Of course, I do believe that this is one aspect that we need to embrace during the dark night of the soul, and I'm personally still dealing with that. And I must say that even though I have doubts on a regular basis, I do believe that at the end of the day, I will use a quote from Avatar Part 3. I think it was like, the light always returns. And when I say this, I truly feel it, that's part of my schizophrenia, but probably there will be moments during this day when I'm like, oh my God, reality is just, doesn't attest to that. There is, so much contrast between my, let's say, hopes and feelings, and even imaginings, or this deep feeling that, everything will work out well in the end, because I believe that a big part of me, maybe even a bigger part of me, believes in that the light always returns, but darkness is also part of this reality, of this dual reality. This is the way reality works on this planet, and basically to experience the light, we need to know the darkness. To experience joy, you need to know sadness. To experience love, you need to know, hatred, indifference, or the lack of love, So yes. So if you're also familiar with this feeling that, you can feel everything and go from totally delighted to totally disappointed, and, you have this reality checkpoint, I have a strong belief that there are more of us, and of course, if you know this feeling, please feel free to share. Of course, if you want to, if you feel comfortable with that, maybe you also have some tips or tricks about how to deal with that. And even though I say so many times that the dark night of the soul, you can't really plan your way out of it, because whatever gave you this experience will take this away from you. That's my feeling. Although I'm not a case study yet, if you will, but basically I do believe that I have this feeling that you can't control some things, but it doesn't mean that you can live with dignity. It doesn't mean that you can't do so you can live with dignity. You can still do things and activities that will help you navigate this period in the easiest possible way. Just take care of yourself. Again, deep breaths, walks in nature, being with loved ones, singing, dancing, watching something that will elevate you. Just take care of yourself, and journal, get to know yourself better. I would say that's another thing about the dark night of the soul. You're getting to know yourself better. So I hope this helps. Feel free to share your experiences. And again, if you have tips or tricks, I'm sure that if anyone happens to come across it, it will help them at least, some people. So I think this is it. I wish you all the best, and until next time.